What is going on? I hope everyone is doing well. Alright, today is an overdue video. I thought I would take my time to talk about all of the upgrades that we did to the Yukon and my thoughts, either pro or cons, of all of the products that, well, for most part, most of the products that we installed into the Yukon. Yeah, it's been a good maybe 5 years in the making of where we are today. So let's go ahead and start with our first one. All right, so the very first one that we did was actually installed the WeatherTech Mats. This is a big important one, especially if you have kids and for going off-roading, making sure that you have something that's going to catch all the mud, all the dirt, all the sand that, that we're going to end up encountering. And when having kids, you know, like, you parents know what I'm talking about, where kids always drop stuff, especially in the back. Anyways, these ones are really cool. These are lasered, 3D imaged, and just shaped so that way they sit snug. So it's more of a tub to catch all the mud and water than anything else. Definitely highly recommend for even just your everyday drivers. So these are the ones that I use, the WeatherTech Mats. Super happy. Alright, next one that we did was we upgraded the tires. We ended up going with the K02s. They were 31-inch tires overall. So these are the old highway tires, the Mirage. They're okay. Gave a huge different look to the truck. Like, I know that I'm using Chevy rims, but still the aggressive nubbiness of the tires changed the look of the truck dramatically. And I was super stoked. These are the first set of K02 tires that I purchased, and honestly, I fell in love with them. Alright, next upgrade was the KNN air filter intake system. This is an actual system that I purchased for the Yukon for the 5.3 motor, 5.3 liter motor. Main reason was for getting better fuel mileage, a little bit more horsepower, and the biggest reason was because these air filters are actually reusable. Just go ahead, clean them up, and then you spray the oil back in, and then you're good to go. Yeah, so as you can see over here, we removed the huge intake and replaced it with a more simplistic intake, and gave the engine a bit of a more grunty noise, which I really like. So after installing the bit larger tires, noticed that there was a bit more rubbing happening. So I ended up having to do a leveling kit. So I did it with ReadyLift. It was a 2.5-inch leveling kit, and that actually lifted the front of the truck up enough so that way the tires had more clearance. Alright, so the next upgrade was actually installing a second battery, so doing a dual battery system. One of the nice things about the Yukon, with its platform, they came in diesel. Also, the engine compartment shares the same thing with the GMC Silverado and the Chevy Sierra, or it could be the other way around. Anyways, they also both come with diesel motors, where most diesel motors have dual batteries. So we actually had a spot for a second battery that was OEM. So we utilized that, but we used the second battery as our auxiliary battery. So this is where that second tray was, and it was literally just nothing that was there. So like I said, right here I'm actually installing the battery relay or battery disconnect. This way that I have the system is when the key is turned off, this relay disconnects the auxiliary battery, so that way any of the lights or accessories that I have connected to the second battery, it's not going to draw any power from the main battery, so that way we always have a fresh battery to start the truck. This is just kind of like a safety measure that I wanted to ensure that, you know, the main house battery didn't have any problems. As I'm getting excited for the second battery, and this is the main reason why, decided to install a massive inverter. This is a 2200 watt, 4400 watt peak inverter. So I have some plans on the reason why I want such a massive inverter, and yeah, which was really nice is that this inverter comes with a sine wave or shine wave. That's just it's more stable power wave. Instead of being spiky, it flows better. Here I am just testing out the inverter with a high-powered hair dryer. And yeah, so now I'm just installing it. Very particular where I wanted it to go, and I wanted to go inside the panel in the back and try to hide everything as much as I can. Alright, next upgrade, we're going to be focusing on fog lights. These are bicolored fog lights by Oxbeam, and this was a completely custom job. The OEM fog lights were actually round, and so it was kind of weird. I had to build and design a new mounting bracket in the back there to be able to house these square fog lights. So yeah, so I'm able to switch between white and amber. Try to keep everything OEM, try not to keep or work with the OEM area, try not to cut up too much of the truck itself. So as you can see, just all custom bracketry, all custom everything basically to accommodate the actual truck itself. While installing the extra fog lights, and especially with the second color, I'm going to need something to power that. So here we are with an 8-gang switch panel. This one's an Amazon special, a little bit cheaper than some of the more higher brand ones, but they've worked. I really like it, even for after having it for about 4 or 5 years now. It works great and super happy with it. So still haven't used up all the buttons, but the future is showing that I would like to use up the more of the buttons. Yeah, here it is. Looks really good. Next was the hood-mounted rigid lights. These were really cool. When I saw them on some 4Runners, I really liked it, and tried my best to find some for the Yukon. The rigids, they're expensive, but they're definitely worth it. Here are the hood mounts for the square headlights. Yeah. Okay, next one. It's a huge problem if anyone has a Yukon. You guys all know that for whatever reason, those soup bowl headlights, they don't do a good job in regarding to illuminating the road properly, especially for the high beams. I found that it was just horrible. These heat-injected LED lights, they do an amazing job, and the best part is you're able to change the beam pattern of the light itself, and by doing so, I'm able to get the most optimal beam and light distribution on the road that I've ever seen on a Yukon. So we're going to show here after me dialing everything in. This is low, that's high. Low, high. I have high beams in the Yukon. Before, it wasn't so. When I put the high beams on, it's like the light just got lost and didn't see anything. Okay, next thing for any off-roader, which is important, is recovery gear. Got myself a 12,000 pound winch from Amazon. This was a budget friendly. We ended up doing one trail that was really hard. And honestly, this budget friendly winch saved our butts so many times. It was definitely a battle getting through that trail, and I'm super happy with this winch. Okay, next was actually to get a winch tray. Again, the whole theme for this Yukon was I wanted everything to be bolt-on, nothing too over dramatic with replacing and cutting up body parts. This winch tray is made by Weston, and it was really easy, really nice to bolt on. This particular one was actually for a 2007 to 2014 Chevy Silverado 1500, and which is the exact same thing as the Yukon. A little bit of body work. No, there was no body work. All that just happened was the bars that going into the chassis there, I had to push up the body a little bit, or the bumper, but not by much. So yeah, super happy, and again, being super mounted, and we had no issues with it. Still focusing with the winch area, we went with a Factory 55 closed loop system. This here actually is a little bit safer, just to be able to ensure that nothing's going to break or fly all over the unwanted areas. And top of it, it looks really nice. It cleans up the front of the truck, and nothing really hangs or dangles. Overall, just makes the truck look a little bit better. All right, next one. I'm not exactly too happy with this one, but whatever. It's the Enon head unit installed in the Yukon. Wanted something with the touchscreen, thinking that I was going to use nav. And this, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm still in the midst of looking for a replacement for this particular head unit. There's a lot of issues. One, volume 1 is way too loud. Not only that, there's you can see it just on top, the trim just on top of the head unit. It's actually popping out, as you can see right here. I'm actually going to push it in and see. So the finishing is not the best. The unit itself is not the greatest. That's all. I'm just going to leave it with that. All right, speaking of radios, here's some communications. I went with this one. This actually does a 10 meter and also CB. Just being able to talk to whoever you're going to be riding with and driving with, and I think communication is very important. So for navigations, I went ahead and I went with the Garmin Overlander. This thing's awesome. A little pricey, but still awesome. I like it. I'm happy with the purchase. I didn't pay full pop for it as I bought it secondhand, but I like it. All right, another big upgrade to this was rock sliders. What I wanted to do here was find a set of rock sliders that's going to be able to take and hold the weight of the truck. Not only that, I wanted something so that it's more like steps. So as my kids are able to go in and out of the truck and not fall through the hole. So this was custom built. I built it myself. And yeah, I had fun with this. It brought back to the days of me doing my fabrications and welding. And believe it or not, I used my buddy's welder here, and I was running tacks. I was running the power off of that inverter that I installed in the truck. So just being able to do some tacking and getting everything set up, it was actually really impressive on how everything's set up. So yep, just cutting everything, tacking everything before I had to do big welds. Those big welds, I went ahead and did it from actual power source from the house. So here we go, painting it with the primer, and then here's the finished product. Looks great and it works great. Well, as time went on, we had to change tires. So here we are getting another set, our second set of KO2s. This time we went with bigger tires. Overall, they ended up being like 34 inches. They are 305, 75, sitting on 18s. Here in this area, I actually had to do a NorCal tuck, if I remember. Basically what that is we tuck back a little bit of the pinch welds just to be able to get more room. All right, and this is my favorite mod, the drawer system. Here's the kitchen, and then the one just to the left would be the recovery drawer. Me camping, so much fun. Yeah, I really like looking at this. All right, the next one is this. It's the onboard air system with the ARB twin air compressor. I saw this on a lot of the Jeeps and 4Runners, and I wanted to integrate something like this in the truck, and definitely have not seen this done before, and super happy on how it turned out. All right, next, not necessarily a mod, but definitely something that we added, which was the Dometic 55-liter fridge. This thing was phenomenal, taking it to the beach, camping, being able to have frozen ice cream and freezies and stuff. I also ended up getting the power block here, mounted that to the panel here. I was able to plug in. Now with that, we're going to need some power, and we decided to do a budget build lithium battery. This integrated it into the area here, and this is going to power our fridge. So that's how I'm going to do it with the fridge. It was just a wire and with an Anderson connection, plug that in, and that will plug straight into this DC to DC charger, 40 amp, that specifically takes DC power from your alternator to more friendly power for the lithium battery. So this is by Renogy, and it's definitely must for when you have a lithium battery and you want to charge it in your vehicle. So again, wanted to try to keep everything clean. Ended up making a custom bracket to sit right on top of the inverter that sits in the panel, and just keep it clean. All right, another labor of love is my Expedition roof rack. This thing was awesome. Designed it from scratch, cut it out, and welded everything. So happy on how it turned out. looks so good. And I'll be able to put the rooftop tent on here and not worry about the weight. Alright, so the next thing to do is the ReadyLift 4-inch lift kit. This is, and then we ended up going with Fox shocks for the front. And that gave us our nice, huge lift to be able to go over obstacles, almost any obstacles. And so as you can see, we got a clearance now of 22¼ inches. And then from that point down to the floor was 23 inches. Alright, so that's it for the video. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Yeah, for pretty much all the mods that we did on the truck, the only one that I was not really happy about is the KNN radio head deck. But other than for that, everything else, really enjoyed on how the truck has turned out, the evolution of this Yukon massive build. So this is the kind of stuff that you like. Why don't you go ahead, think about subscribing. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that way you are notified every single time we release a new video. Also, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. It helps us out with the algorithm. Until the next time, who knows, maybe we'll see you out there. Stay safe, everyone.